I'm going to give you like 5 minutes to come up with your ideas of black people who live in Africa. Okay? Write down and don't worry about being PC or whatever. Just write down.
They have no resources, like jobs or nothing.
Mount Kilimanjaro, the Congo, the Kente.
I'm sitting here with Sarah Abbott and Candy Fox, and we're at the Rainbow Youth Center. Why don't you tell me about this media literacy class that you're doing?
It's called the Engaging Media and Indigenous Youth Project. It runs for 8 weeks at the Rainbow Youth Center for 2 hours a week. I was interested in looking at ways that media literacy and being aware of how media affects our lives connects with critical thinking skills and communication skills and leads to a sense of more empowerment.
Morocco, boy kids with eyes on their face.
Together in this time of need for Norway, helping them out. Africa, we need to make a difference in Norway. We need to collect our radiators, ship them over there, and spread some warmth, spread some light, and spread some smiles. Say yes to radiators.
We can't contribute, but only God would like to share what we can distribute.
How does this video relate to this list that you guys just came up with? Because these African people are, they're not kids with flies in it. This is
I just feel like we're stereotyping.
No, that's not the mainstream.
stereotyping. Yeah.
What does media literacy mean to you?
I was asked that at the beginning, and I couldn't answer it because I had no idea. But it just kind of how I would think would be like the message that comes from the videos that you watch. So that's how I would think of it. Like just kind of what they're trying to tell you, or what they want you to think about it.
So if you think about people making the effort, which involves energy and ideas and thought and money to make something, they're going to make it a certain way. Things are made for profit or for power. A media literate person means that you control the interpretation of the media, right? As opposed to the media controlling you.
What's the filmmaker's point trying to get across? I've been thinking about that lately. Like I've been watching a lot of 1491 videos at home. Yeah.
It's new to me, if anything, because I'm native, but I was raised like white, so I never see anything like that, like how the videos you guys showed us. Kind of learning how to tell what message is from like commercials, from videos, just to pick up on that more than I would normally.
In addition to teaching media literacy skills and theory, we're using films to bring out difficult issues as a way to talk about them. So we showed Out in the Cold, inspired by the freezing deaths of First Nations men in Saskatchewan. And when we showed that film, we had 2 police officers come into the class with Dr. Shawneen Pete from the university, so they could all speak to the issues of Aboriginal and police relations.
These are not topics that are separate from our experience as First Nations people in Saskatchewan. They are often the story of our lives. So for me, these issues are really personal, and I can't separate myself from them. And I wonder whether you knew the story or whether you've heard similar type of stories.
How many of you have ever had contact with police? How many of you can say it's been positive?
Back home in Broadview, I got picked up by the cops and they dropped me outside by the graveyard outside of the town. I had to walk all the way back in. It was summertime though, so I just kept on walking. I just left it alone after. I told all my family, but they never did nothing about it either. So.
How old were you?
I was 14.
Incidents like these erode the trust in the police, erode beliefs in what our job is. Our job is out there to serve the community, to look after the people that are out there, and to do the best that we can in different circumstances. And when incidents happen, such as these, it takes that away from us, and it's not something that we take lightly. As a police service, we strive to gain the trust from the people that we serve.
Left you there, unconscious. You would never leave me. You're just deluding yourself. Get up.
And we showed this time last winter, which was about violence in young relationships, and we had Dana Henderson come in, who was in the film and who has experienced violence in relationship, and Dory Uchu as well. And Dory went through some issues as a man who committed some violence against his partner and then sought help.
We're actually all Aboriginal, almost all Aboriginal women, and there's a good chance that all of us are going to go through that. You know, the violence among us is very high. So, you know, kind of remember this talk if you're in it or if you face that, because, you know, you're so much more valuable than anybody could ever tell you.
Candy, why is this class important?
Well, it's important for me for a number of reasons. First of all, as a student, right, I'm coming here and being mentored by Sarah. It's giving me a lot of different skills. I'm in the learning process. I'm also being able to take the reins and teach a class and being able to curate some films and films that I feel are important for these young Aboriginal people to see. And then another reason is because I myself feel media literacy is important to empower young people to express themselves, to tell their stories, to get messages out there that wouldn't necessarily be seen by mainstream media, just to take our power back as Aboriginal people. So do you feel that it's important for Indigenous people to create media?
After the 8 weeks, yeah, because there wasn't that much stories about our stories out there, and it's still limited, and there's not much Native actors, filmmakers, etc., stuff like that. And our stories are still Hollywood. They're not really our stories.
Something that I came up with this morning, I noticed in the paper, Wab Canoe speaking, he said the media can do better, journalist argues, about how there's so little Indigenous media coverage, how it's covered, who's covering it, what the point of view is, and how it tends to be more about disharmony than harmony. I mean, what are the dominant media images you see of your, I'm speaking specifically Regina, of men and women your age, of men and women in your community? What's the dominant image?
Out there hustling, in jail, not really doing shit all.
Okay.
Still drinking.
And we're
having a kid, not looking after that kid.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a very interesting one. Having a kid and not looking after that kid. Let's talk about that one specifically. I just directed a music video for a hip-hop artist out of Edmonton called Rellik. He's like, I'm getting tired of bling and boobs and all that sort of stuff on music videos, and I want to see something a little bit different. Here's a guy who's like saying, you know what, I'm not going to convince the media to do anything, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to counter program, put it out there. And that to me is the power of the media. That's the power of YouTube and Vimeo and people taking charge of their own image and then putting that out there.
So we've been seeing a lot of work in the past few weeks. You know, they enable us to talk about things, they enable us to see different elements of people's lives and the things that they've gone through. Film has the power to change perspective. So now I'm going to ask you the question, why is it important for Indigenous people to make film, make media?
To get the real story out there, you know, real teachings, not stuff that's portrayed out there by other people that don't know.
And like we don't even have to make movies about Indigenous people. I think I said this before, you know, we could just be Indigenous people working in the media type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just good for that, good for our culture, I guess.
Honestly, I think it would be good for more Indigenous people to make films because I think they'd get the right understanding of our understanding out there, not the
white man's understanding of us, and to show our culture, our beliefs, and like how we live, and like, you know, not that we are broken down people and don't like have these wrong beliefs, or we're just like drunks, or like, you know, let people know who we are as a people, as our people, as our cultures, you know. I think.
Think about it?
Yo, just go with it.
Maybe.
Yeah, just go with it.
You'll think about it? Okay, well, maybe
I hope that they leave with an increased awareness of how media affects them, as it affects everybody in society, and also as it affects them as Indigenous people, because I think what we've been seeing and learning more about in the program is that if you're the person being stereotyped, you kind of can take on that stereotype, and it becomes very disempowering, and it prevents people from being their true selves.
I like to go out and like just do some films to see how life is on reserve still to this day out there, see if it's still the same or has changed a bit. That's what I like to do.
So in a way this class kind of maybe heightened your interest?
Yeah, actually it did.